It's strength in finding resilience beyond your circumstances. What is up, you guys? I'm Zakia Monet, and welcome to the Finding Your Way podcast, where we share stories about hardships and share ways to not let our circumstances define us. Like you, we're just here to find our way. You guys, welcome back to another episode of Finding Her Way podcast. My name is Zakia. I go by Zakia Monet on all social media platforms, and welcome to another episode again. I know I said that again, but just listen. So this episode, we always do a journal entry. So this journal entry, I'm still tapping into self-care, pouring into yourself and doing things for yourself, putting yourself first, filling your own cup. So I want you to write a couple words of encouragement, of things that you think about yourself, or things that you love about yourself. What do you love about your body? What do you love about your mind? What do you love about your personality? What are the things that you love the most? Pour some words of encouragement into yourself. That's what I want you to do into this journal entry. So now we got that out of the way. We got some things to talk about. This has been, I always tell my therapist, every time we skip a week or every time I go without talking to her every time we skip a week, I always get bombarded with a lot of things at one time. I'm trying to stop cussing, but I was about to say a lot of shit, but y'all get what I'm saying. I always get bombarded with a lot of shit. So this past week has been quite the week. These last 2 weeks has been quite the week. As a parent and as a woman, I should say, because originally it started out with me, I think last week I touched on, a little bit of who I wanted to be and my career path and the person that I wanted to grow into. So that's why I kind of say it was kind of tough for me as a woman, and then as a parent, it was very tough. It was very tough because my son got suspended from his private school for the rest of the year. And he couldn't come back next year. So it's been, when I say it's been a time, it's been a time. You know how sometimes as a parent, you just want to go toe to toe with your child, because you know the type of parent that you are. You know the type of parent that you are trying to change into, and who you want to be in, the type of parent, the type of mother that you want to be in, who you want your child to be growing up. That's just the frustration as a parent when your child is constantly getting in trouble, or not constantly getting in trouble, because he's not he doesn't get in trouble all the time. My son only gets in trouble when he reacts to things. He's in trouble when he reacts. So if somebody's doing something to him, it takes a lot for somebody to get a reaction out of him, but when you get the reaction, it's overboard. He takes it to the next step. And so he's been in 2 fights this school year, and then we have this last incident. And I say it's been challenging as a parent because, for one, like I said, you kind of, what type of child you have, and what type of child you are trying to raise. And as a single mother, it's even harder because you're trying to show your child, show your child the ways of life, and the right and wrong things. Try to instill in them, how to maneuver through life and how to maneuver through bad friendships, or friends that are not necessarily for them, and try to let them have their own mind, but still drop some gems on them to kind of show them how to pick the bad seeds out of the bunch. And so I think my son is really struggling with that. He's always struggled with friends, because my son is like me. He loves to make people happy. He loves to give gifts. He loves to, that's his, I feel like that's his, his love language, gift giving. I feel like that is his love language. And so that's just what my son is, and that's what he does to all of his friends. He begs me to buy his friends Robux or get them gifts, or just like anything like that. He's such a sweet kid. But when he's pushed, or when he feels like he's pushed, he just reacts. So it's been a time. Like this, I keep saying it's been a time because I'm just like baffled at the extent that it's come to and that it's going to. Originally, when I've heard of a suspension, I'm just tell y'all what it was. So my son has been getting into it with a little kid, and so the words, you know, were back and forth, and so my son decided to take he decided to post it online, which was crazy. It just crazy because I've told my son 1,000 times, you know, to watch what you post, watch what you say, watch the things that you do, you know, like just be mindful of those things. And it's just like he allowed a lot of things to come into play to make it get this far. So I was very disappointed in him. I was very disappointed in him, and I was very disappointed in the school. I feel like my son was wrong for sure, 100%. I'm not taking that away. He did what he did. He deserves a punishment. But I feel like for it to go to the extent of being expelled for the rest of the year and then determining if he should come back next year, I feel like that was kind of a blow, because y'all, it's a school for all boys, first of all. And I chose this school for two reasons. For one, because it's the only school that would take him at the age that he was. So it goes through pre-K and they add a grade every year. So right now it's from pre-K to 8th grade. So I believe, yeah. So I wanted him to have like something stable coming from two parents, seeing two parents that has had a toxic relationship, no type of stability. He's always in the mix. He's always been exposed to violence. He's always been exposed to things that he shouldn't have seen at such a young age. So I wanted him to come into something with some sort of stability. It's a Christian school, so he's going to learn about the Bible at home and here. So he's going to have that balance. Although I don't want to push religion on my child, I want him to at least experience this to kind of see if, you know, this is the route that he want to take growing up, you know? So I wanted that. And then two, the teachers were mainly men. And I love that because being that he doesn't have a consistent father, I feel like that would have been a great thing. Like that was a plus, so that was a bonus. Like, and so I loved all of those things. But you know, my son has his own challenges. He has ADHD, and on top of having ADHD, he does have some trauma that he's dealing with. And so working with the school and looping them in on all the things that he's been through or been going through. As far as his dad's concerned, I wanted to have therapy involved at his school, so we had that in place. And so I was thinking, like, you know, he would have like it's like it takes a village to raise a child, and so I wanted to build a village to surround my child with. You know, like I want him to be surrounded by nothing but positivity, nothing but people that can pour into him, nothing. But if he feel like he can't listen to me, at least he'll have somebody else to talk to, you know. So I wanted that. So those were the main qualities and the main things that I wanted him to get out of this school. And so for me going through this situation, I felt like my son, I feel like, for one, you know, I'm a single mom. Two, you know all that my son has been through, so you know the type of mindset he has. My son doesn't, when he reacts, he goes to the things that he automatically reacts with, the things that he's seen, which is violence. And so that's pretty much what got him in trouble. So I feel like they should have sat my son down and had a conversation. Suspend him, yes, of course. He needs some sort of consequence. He needs to know that every action has a consequence, that for sure. So I'm not taking that away. But I felt like my son should have somebody, one of those, whether it would have been the principal or a teacher, someone that has been in his life, you know, for a long time. My son has been there since pre-K. From pre-K to 3rd grade. So y'all pretty much know who my son is. Like, y'all know what type of kid he is. Y'all know who my son is. So y'all know him well enough to know what his triggers are, what he reacts to, and all these things. And so I feel like a conversation should have been handled with my son instead of like just pushing him off to, you know, go seek a psychiatric evaluation and all this other stuff. He's not going to kill. Like, that was another thing that kind of irritated me. Like, don't tell me that you're concerned that my son is going to, you know, do something to himself or harm himself. Like, no, that it didn't even give that. It didn't give that. So it was a lot of things that came into play as far as, like, you know, me, you know, feeling a certain type of way about the school and how they handled it. But I do know that my son needs to take accountability for his actions. Like, that's for sure. I think my issue was just mainly with the response and, you know, like, just that whole thing. And so I've been going through with that. And then when I'm on the phone, I'm trying to take my feelings out of it when I'm having the conversation with the teacher, because I got a call about this situation. It was probably 9 o'clock at night and on a Monday. So it's probably 9 o'clock at night. So I got a call and they were basically telling me what happened about the social media thing and all this other stuff. And so I feel like, I don't know. I felt like I needed more clarification because I wasn't really clear on what they wanted to do with him. So I decided to call again the next morning to kind of get clarification, to see what I need to do, to come up with a game plan with the school to see how can we move forward from this situation. And I feel like the conversation that I had, it wasn't like, it was just like, he needs a psych evaluation, he needs like all this, like it like, I'm trying to slow down, because in this conversation, it may have just been how I took it, but when I'm hearing the principal saying, like, I don't know if you are monitoring him or watching what he does, or basically talking about the household or the home and all this other stuff, it's making me feel like it's coming across as like you're judging my parenting, or you're trying to, like, it was just all wrong. It was just all wrong. For one, you really don't know. It's a new principal, granted, but I feel like you should get more, like, you should have more conversations with me to know, like, what's going on, or more conversations with him. This is why I feel like a conversation was really needed for y'all to get understanding of why he reacted the way he did when it comes to the kid. Like, get a better understanding. It was no conversation had. It was just like, it was just boom, boom, boom. Like, it was just, I don't know. I just feel like y'all, it just felt like my son was just exiled from the school, a school that he's been in since he was in pre-K, a school that he's grown to love the teachers, a school that he's built a bond with the teachers, and like it was just a little upsetting to me. So I got that, like, that's what I took away from the call. Like, I just took away that I think it was just my son made me feel like my son disappointed me in the situation, so it made me in return make me feel like a bad parent. And then, like, hearing a teacher, you know, like hearing how the principal is talking, that kind of, you know, topped it. And so it just, like, as a parent, you just automatically, like, when stuff like this happens, you just automatically question, you know, like, how are you raising your child, and what are you doing wrong, or what have you done wrong? Sometimes it's not even you, like, it's not even that you did anything wrong. You can raise a child the best to your ability, the best that you know how, especially as a single parent. You can raise your child to the best of your ability, especially of a boy. I forgot to add that. Especially of a boy. You can only raise him up to what to what you want. Like, to the best of your abilities, like I was saying. And I feel like when you feel like you're doing a good job, or when you feel like you are doing the best that you can, it could be a slap in the face when stuff like this happens. So it's just hurtful. I feel like as a parent, it's a very hurtful thing when you have a child that's taking you through a little bit of stuff and you're just frustrated with everything. I was mad at the dad because I felt like you exposed him to this stuff, and then you're not here to help me clean this up. You're not here to help me, you know, like, figure some things out. You're not here to help me discipline. You're not here to help me do a lot of things. And it's just, it was very, I got very emotional. I was very emotional. I'll be trying not to get emotional now. But I was very emotional. I was very withdrawn. I just couldn't stop crying, and it was a lot. So now I gotta go through this whole thing of finding him another school, touring schools. So that's what I've been doing this week, touring schools, and that, like, it's just a lot to redo, and then have to pay all these fees to do another private school and do all this other stuff. And I don't know if it was God trying, because my son has been through quite a bit at this school. So I don't know if this was God's way of forcing me out because we were too comfortable at this school, because there was a lot of red flags of me pulling him out sooner than what happened. Sooner than him being forced out of school, like sooner than that. So I feel like in a way, maybe this is God's way of pushing us out, or I don't know what it is, but it's just been very emotional for me. Like, it's been very, very emotional. It just makes me question everything. It's just making me, question everything, but it's also making me kind of re-strategize everything. Re-strategize how I parent, re-strategize how I discipline, re-strategize, like, how much intake of social media he gets and all this other stuff. It's like, I got a lot going on, and it's like, as a single, I keep saying as a single mom, but that's just what I am. As a single mom, you're trying to, as a single mom and as the main provider, you're trying to get all these things up and running. You're trying to work extra hours. If you can, you're trying to work extra hours. You're trying to find a second job. You're trying to get these businesses up and running. So I'm like, I got my hands in a little bit of everything, along with content, podcasts. Like, I got my hands in a lot of things that I love, like things that I actually want to do. So I got my hands in these things, and it's like, sometimes you gotta pick and choose, like what it is that you want to do. Like, do you want to put what you want to the side and focus on, your child, and focus on raising your child, focus on all of these things? Or do you want to figure out a way to kind of balance it all? Because I know, like, I for sure need to provide for my child, because I have a lot of mouths to feed, not just him, but I'm helping with a lot, on top of having my own bills and all this other stuff. And so I gotta find a balance of this and this. So it's just trying to figure out and strategize and figure out a way to kind of, find a balance, even though it may not be a balance. But I feel like I just gotta do some planning and, put some things to the side and put my son in some extracurricular activities and get him back into that, because I feel like we kind of losing our way a little bit as a team, because at the end of the day, it's me and him. And I think I'm just really trying not to get emotional about it, because I don't know, it's very hard. It's been very hard. That's why I hate missing therapy sessions. I hate when we have our weeks that we don't talk or we miss it, and it's because it's just like everything just be hitting me at one time. Like, I know I'm gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna get through it every time. I get through it with the help of God every time. God gets me through it every time. But it's just like, I feel like sometimes I be losing my way. When it's so good, I lose my way with him, and the relationship feels like I'm starting back over with him. So it just feels like I'm back to square one. So it feels like nothing's working or nothing is, I'm just stuck. It just feels like nothing is moving. And so when I do get back to these spaces of where I get really sad or really emotional, I don't really have the tools to get me back in a good space, because while I'm in such a happy space, I'm not thinking about taking those tools with me in a state of like, I'm not thinking of keeping those tools with me when I get back down, when I get back sad, or when I get back down and out. Like, I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about being in that high and being in that happiness. And, like, you just don't think about those things, but it's a really good thing to think about. I think I was listening to B. Simone's podcast when she said that, and it was just like, it's something to really think about. We don't think about those things. We're just thinking about, being happy in those moments and taking those moments in for what it is, because we know for sure it's not gonna always be like that. So we're just sitting in those moments where you gotta take those tools with you whenever you get back into those sad spaces And I just didn't do that. And so now I'm just like all these past 2 weeks, I just been so emotional and so up and down, because it's just like, where do I go from here? Like I just said, like, I need to come up with a strategy, but in my mind, before I thought about that, before I got to what I need to do next, it was like, where do I go from here? Like, what am I doing? Where am I going with this? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, as a parent, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I don't know. You just kind of like re-evaluating yourself. Like, just, what am I doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? It's just been an emotional week, man. It's just been a very emotional week. And shout out to my sister, because if I didn't have her, I don't know, like, I don't know, I would just be, I don't know. It's just been really tough this week. And it's just one of those weeks as a parent. It's just like, we just had a bad week. And then that bad week, in your mind, that bad week turns into a bad month. And like, in your mind though, I'm not saying like it turns into a bad month, but in your mind, it's just like, damn, like, everything is just going left. Everything is just like, what is going on? Like, what is this? This has really, I just don't know. I don't know. So now, while my son is testing, I gotta wait for him to, they really didn't want him to be there for real. So he had to get dropped off at a different time. And he gotta get picked up as soon as he's done. And it's just like, I feel like y'all treating my kid as though he's like a threat, or like a, I don't know. It's just this, I don't know. It's like, you know your child is wrong, but you still go into protection mode when you feel like your child is getting chastised for his mistake. And he knows he made a mistake. He knows he made a mistake. And it's just like, we had these conversations, because I was just like, if you don't want nobody in your business, because I've always been a type that was like ill to parents who told all their kids business. Because it's just like, I don't feel like, I don't know. Your child's business is between you and your child. That's what makes them not want to tell you stuff. So I've been telling him, like, if you want nobody in your business, and if you don't want nobody in your business, you don't have to tell them your business. Just say, you know, I made a mistake or something like that. And he was like, I know I made a big mistake. He knows that. He said, I'm so proud of him for taking accountability. I am so proud of him for taking accountability. But he got to live in this mistake. He got to own it. He got to learn from it. I know that. And so hopefully in this school, in this different environment, he's exposed to different things. He's not triggered by anything. He's able to open up. I want to get him back in therapy with a guy, because the therapy he was going through was through the school. So I don't feel like it was he felt like it was like real therapy for real. So I do want him to get with another therapist outside of school, and you know, start working on his self. Because I don't feel like he opens up whenever he's in therapy. I don't feel like he tells them like what's really going on, because I feel like he don't want people in his business, or he don't want to like look at his dad a certain way, or, you know, me a certain way, or anything like that. Anything that he may feel, he don't want nobody to, I don't know, feel some type of way, because he's very defensive. He's very protective of people he loves. Like, even though his dad hasn't been consistent, he's still very protective over that relationship. And that's why I don't say anything about his dad to him. I kind of like, our conversation is more so like, how you feel about this, how you feel about that, like, hey, you talk to your dad, like, when last time you talk to him, how do you feel about not talking to him in such a long time? Like, those are the kind of conversations that I have with him. It's never a bashing thing, because I never want to do that. Although that's been done to me. You know. But I never want to be that person. I never want to do that to my child. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's been hard, y'all. It's been a very hard week. And last episode, I was talking about doing solo traveling. Like, this has really been making me want to do that even more. Like, I just want to go on a boat and shake a tail feather. Like, I just want to do something. Because it's just been so much chaos. It's been so much chaos. It's been so much chaos. And then my little sister, she made my day the next day, because I was having a conversation with her, because I felt so bad that I haven't been reaching out to her like I should, because life has been getting in the way and all this other stuff. Mind you, she had a baby. She has a 1-year-old now. So when the baby was first born, I was very consistent in reaching out. I was very consistent in, you know, like wanting to be there and wanting to give them everything that she needed, anything she needed, or you know, even before that, like whenever she needed stuff for school, I was making sure I was there, you know, doing stuff like that. And so I felt like I kind of been falling off of that relationship, and I just felt so bad. And so I reached out to her and was apologizing and all these other things, and she was just like, you are an amazing dad and sister, and I'm proud of you, and I love you, and you're doing a good job. And that just made my day, because like I just got this feeling like sometimes I just be having this feeling like I failed as like just a feeling of failure. Like I failed as a mom, or I failed as a daughter, or I failed as a sister. Like I'm not doing my job just because of what my siblings are going through. Just because like all the things that are coming into play, like I just feel like a bad person. Like I just feel like I'm not doing my job, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, and that just made me feel good. Although like it made me feel good, it's just this feeling of pressure of like you gotta do something with yourself if you want to take care of people. Like you gotta do something with yourself. So I don't. It's just like the pressure of being the oldest child. The oldest child, I feel like, goes through the most. Like the oldest child is always, I feel like the test tube, like the test baby. I feel like the oldest child is always the one that's going through the trenches with you. Like the oldest child is always the one that's taking those licks. The oldest child is always the one that's, you know, like, I ain't gonna say for all families, because maybe that's not true for all families, but I feel like, you know, a lot of the cases that I've seen and a lot of people that I've talked to, or just from what I've read on social media, it's a lot of that going on. Like, we go through a lot as the first. We go through a lot. And just by what I've been talking about with y'all, like, it's been a lot. It's really been a lot. So it's always that pressure of feeling the need that you need to be great, or feeling the need that you need to do something different than everybody else. And I know I'm different. I've always been told I was different by other people. I've always been told I was different. So it's just like honing into that and attacking that. And it's just like, I just need to get to that. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know, like I keep saying it, but this week has just really been a week. This week has really been a week. I don't know, like, it's I don't know where do we go from here. Like I said, like the next step is just searching for him a new school and getting him. I feel like I want to get him on the schedule for the summertime. I want to get him into boxing. I want to get him into extracurricular activities, and I want to just put my focus on him more this summer, because I do have a lot coming up, and so I'm figuring out the business stuff. I'm trying to figure out like what it is that I really want to hone into and not just be all over the place. What is that I really need to be doing? So I'm figuring that out slowly but surely. I'm getting better with that, and we're gonna make this, like, I'm growing my platforms. Like, I gotta grow these platforms. So that's one of my biggest goals. My arm went on. But yeah, like, that's one of my biggest goals. It's like growing these platforms and reaching the people that I want to reach, and, you know, like having more of these real conversations. Like having more real conversations, because I feel like a lot of the time I want to be around people who have been through what I've been through. Because like when you're talking to people who haven't, like, they don't really know what to say for real, but they can't do nothing for real but pray for you or tell you what they would do. But it's so different because they haven't been through what you've been through, so they can't really tell you what to do, you know. And it's not on them. It's just like they don't get. Just like a lot of things that they go through, we might not get. So know, so it's always a flip side to everything. But yeah, like it's just really been a battle. And shout out to my friend. Like he really helped me through that. He really helped me that day. He really helped me that day. He really did. But you know, like, I guess every day it's gonna be a journey every day with my son. It's gonna be a ride every day with him, and I'm ready for it, but I'm not ready for it. I just feel like I need to get like some type of healing done, some more healing done, as far as like when it comes to letting anger be my first response in situations, especially when it comes to his dad. I feel like I'm still angry with him in a lot of things, and I also feel like he's not ready for a conversation, so I can't really have that conversation with him just yet about that, because like I don't know what that forgiveness looks like for me. Like, I want to forgive and not be able to hold on to stuff. Like, I want to be able to move on. I don't want to keep thinking about it. I don't want to be mad anymore. Like, I think it's time for me to actually accept that I'm going to be doing this by myself until he gets it right. Until or if he gets it right. Like, I'm just going to be doing this by myself. And I got to come to grips with that. But it's just like, I think for me, I know I will. I think for me, for a long time, it was like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to come to grips with that, because I feel like if you have been through something as a child and you felt like you didn't have your parents, or you felt like you didn't have what you needed to have, like, why would you do that to your child? That's always been my thing. Like, why do the same thing? Why not do something different, you know? Like, why not be different for your child? Don't your child at least deserve that? So for me, it's kind of been like a little hard to grasp, and it's just like I want my child to do his own healing, but I think I'm still mad for him. Honestly, like, I'm still mad for him. Like, I want my child to do his own healing. I want him to do his own forgiving. I want him to be his own person. I want him to have his own mind. I don't want him to be mad at somebody because I'm mad at somebody. I want him to have his own mind. But it's just like I'm still mad for him, and I gotta keep that away from him. That's a lot. So I don't know, y'all. But I know next time, like, I can't go no weeks without seeing my therapist no more. Like, I don't care how tired I am. I don't care. Like, I was sick the last time. I said, I ain't missing this. So she said, girl, if you don't lay down, go lay down and we'll resume next week. I did not want to get off that thing because I feel like every time, like, and that's another thing I think I got to work on, is like dealing with stuff when it, like, even if I don't have her. That's really why I feel like I gotta take. That's really why I feel like I gotta start pouring more into my relationship with God, like, because that's why I feel like I gotta pour back into my relationship with God, because, like, I can't just, like, I can't idolize that relationship, that therapy relationship. I can't, like, that's not, she's a resource that God has appointed me, but she is not the resource. She's not the source, if that makes sense. She's a resource, but she's not the source. And I gotta go to the source because he appointed me the resource, but I can't let the resource be my source, if that makes sense. I can't idolize the resource. I gotta, like, the source is gonna get jealous. He doesn't like that. I gotta pour more into the source. And so I gotta just get back into my relationship with God, because I feel like if I continue to build that relationship and I continue to hone in on that, and, like, I put this at the forefront, then I'll be able to handle all the stuff that comes out by the case. I'll be able to handle all the stuff that comes my way with no problem. Like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And, like, right now, I know I'm gonna be fine, because I know that God is gonna make a way for me. I know that God is gonna, you know, like, God ain't just gonna let me, he ain't gonna let his problem child just be out here, you know, going out crazy, crashing out. I know that for sure. God has come through a lot of things. He has come through with a lot of things for me. Like, he has come through for me on a lot of things. And that'd be another thing too. I'll be feeling like, dang, I be feeling like, dang, like, he probably feeling like I done did enough, but it's never enough for him. Like, it's never enough. It's nothing that he can't do. It's never too much for him. It's just him, like, wanting you to learn that lesson and sitting in whatever it is that you're going through. He wants you to sit in it, call out to him, pray to him, tell him what's going on, even though he knows what's going on. Tell him what's going on. So he knows that you're gonna do something about it. He knows that you're gonna always come to him when you're gonna always come to the source, whether good or bad. Like, it's just like, it's always lessons in everything that we're going through. It's always a lesson. And I feel like right now he's trying to teach me things as far as being a parent and having some patience and checking my emotions at the door. Stop making everything about me. Because when I was going through the emotions of when this first happened, I was just like, I was mad at like I said, like, I was feeling like I was a bad parent and all this other stuff. And I was like, girl, you cannot make this stuff about you. You cannot make this about you. It's not about you. This is like your child made this mistake on his own. He is his own person. He's not wrong, but he's his own person. Like, these kids are their own people. No matter how much you do as a parent, no matter how much you teach them or instill in them as a parent, no matter how good you do, like, these kids, they choose their own path. So, you know, like, my son made a mistake and I just don't want him to keep making the same mistakes. I don't want him to go down the same road that he's seen. And so it's time to gear up. Like, it's really time to gear up, because I feel like the devil is trying to take my child and he can't. And so he's mad. He's mad. And so we're going to keep making him mad. We're going to keep making him mad because, like, ultimately, it's just me and God in this thing. It's not just me. I'm not a single parent. It's just me and God in this thing. And on the outside, I look like a single mom, but God has been helping me when it comes to my son. So we're good. We're going to always be good. But I don't want to drag this episode out any further, because I gotta pick him up soon. And so I'm gonna cut this episode right here. Thank you guys so much for letting me vent and let me get this off my chest. I love you guys. Like, comment, share, and subscribe with a friend. Let me know what you think about this episode. I really want to talk to y'all. Like, I really want to have conversations with y'all. I really want to start doing events, if God will allow, if he thinks I'm ready. What if not? That's cool. We can start chatting in the comments. That's cool too. I really just want to connect with y'all. I really want to connect with my tribe, my community. I really want to do that. So, you know, hopefully this reaches my people. Hopefully this reaches my people. I really want to grow this platform. And so right now, today looks like this. Tomorrow it'll be a studio. You know, who knows? Who knows? But once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in another week. I didn't do film last week because all that stuff was going on. And I really got to learn how to not let my situations bring me down to the point where I don't get nothing done. And I let it be control. I let that control my day, or I let that energy control, like, how I feel moving forward, or, you know, my mindset. And it just takes it to a negative place, and I don't want that. So I really got to learn to do better with that. So, yeah, that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed and took at least one thing, if any, from this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share us with a friend you know. Follow us on Instagram at Finding Her Way Pod, and send us letters or questions to askfhw@gmail.com. We hope to hear from you in the next episode.